Thank you. Okay, Perek Zayin, Mishnah Aleph, and Kelim. So klosai shavalabativ shenifchaso. So klosais of balabatim, right? Which means it's like, again, the whole yisod. We got to keep remembering this. When in order to make an oven, to have a din of an oven, right? Their ovens were just holes that they put over a hole in the ground and they plastered it together. And then in order to make it into its final process is to put on heat, right? And then that makes it a final process. So klosses, so the klosses is basically the base of the oven, and something went wrong with the base of the oven. Yeah, so it's basically the top of the base of the oven decayed, and now it's got a hole in it, and the fire goes inside the hole. Meaning normally you had a base, and then on top of that the coals, and on top of that you put the box that acted as your oven. Here the base busted, so now all the coals sunk in to the grounds. Yeah, meaning that's a simple way to understand it. Maybe not maybe there is no simple way to understand it, but basically, the coals are above the ground, and then you put the box on top of that. Now those coals sunk under the ground. So pachas mishloshet tvachim tameya. So if the hole is less than 3 tvachim, the oven is still tummy, or still has the possibility of becoming tummy. Shu masik milamatun kedera b'shela milamala, because you can, since the hole is not 3 tvachim, so you're heating it up at the bottom, and it's going to get heated up in the top. Yes, and mikan, more than this, tahira, right? If the hole is deeper than 3 tvachim, then it's tahira, because the fire on the bottom of this hole is not going to heat up the box enough. Nosan even oitzror, if you put a rock or a pebble, tahira, then it's tahira, right?
What does that mean?
If you put it inside the hole, like on the bottom of the hole, you put some rocks so that it would lift up the fire.
Even if it's 3 tvachim only.
I mean, even if the hole's deeper than 3 tvachim, but you put some rocks in there in order to make the hole less than 3 tvachim. I think that's what it means. And then you lit the fire on top of that stone, then tahira, then it's still tar, because loose rocks, that's not part of your stove. That's a temporary, as a band-aid. But mercha betit, but let's say you took that rock and you smeared it betit, mikabelas tuma, then it is mikabel tuma, mikan hal ul haba, only from here and on. Zu has the Chuvas Rabbi Yehuda, and this is the Rabbi Yehuda's answer. If you go way back, at the end of the 5th, I don't remember. There was a back and forth. What was it? What was the machlokes again? Oh yeah, whether kli cheres. Rabbi Yehuda had a machlokes in Mish Perek. The Rav says it. Perek Hey Mishnah Vav. All right. So the machlokes there was he had a kli cheres that you're heating it up for the first time when it's attached to the ground, right? Meaning, do you need it to be heated up when meaning once it's attached to the ground, that's enough for it to be considered complete, and you don't have to heat it up. So Rabbi Yehuda has a tshuva, meaning he has an answer to the Chachamim. To the Betanish and the Sunny al pi habar or al pi adus. If you take an oven and you put it on top of a bar, or a dus is a different type of a bar, right? So, so you see that if you do that, we said that it's not really a connection because it's too deep. The fire is too far away, right? So mamela akira put down on top of a hole that can't heat up is not going to be considered a complete deal. So that's what Rabbi Yehuda is tying back to the Rabbanon. So one more Mishnah is pretty easy one. Mishnah Beis, Dachan. A Dachan is a shelf. He has a shelf, like a grill. You know, your barbecue grill, you have shelves, and other ones have different things, attachments, right? So tochen sheyesh by base kibble kedera. So let's say it's a shelf attached to your oven that you could put pots on it, right? Meaning it has like a clay kibble. It's not just a flat piece of wood or whatever it is, or metal. Tar, it's tar mishum kira. It's tar because of kira, meaning it's not considered part of the oven. For tar mishum clay kibble, but it is a clay kibble. So since it's a clay kibble, it becomes tummy that way. Hatstadin shaloi, right? The on the sides of the shelf, and again, ain't a tummy mishum kira. So anything that touches them is not going to become tummy from the kira. Meaning, if the kira becomes tummy, then anything that touches these metal shells will not become tummy because it's a separate entity. Harachav shaloi. What about the rachav? Rachav is wide. That's what it literally means. Rachav means wide shelf. So it means it's
The
part.
expanse,
What?
the expanse of the shelf.
Yeah, yeah. I think. Right. So it was very wide. I mean, it seems like it was sort of like a triangle. When it connected to the oven, it connected the entire length or width of the oven, whatever it is. And as it went further away, it became more pointy. So Rameir says it's tar because it's considered part of the shelf. Rabbi Yehuda says it's tame because since it goes along the length of the oven, so Mamela it's considered part of the oven. All right. Okay. V'chein hakoife es asal, somebody who turns over a basket. V'oisa gab of kira, and then on top of that basket, you made a kira. Now you took a basket. Now I don't know how you're making that because a basket l'char is flammable. But you take a basket, you put it face down. Maybe it means a barrel type thing. Right, and then you put the kira down on top of that. So the question is that part of the kira now or not? So we're saying that it's not considered part of the kira. Right? It's its own kli and has its own separate. It has its own separate halachas. Okay.
Could it mean like a metal basket made out of wires or a grid or something like that?
Maybe. I think it would make a difference. All right.
If it's made out of reeds, it won't be there by the end of the day. It'll burn up.
Right. I don't know.
Mhm. They both wouldn't be tummy.
Uh, yeah, I don't know. Okay.
Yeah.